What is up, guys? How is it going? I am Is There No One Else? And the video I'm bringing you today, I wanted to show some tests of testing out the new Stuhn set, because there's been a lot of feedback in the forums. I have a few bones I have to pick with a few things that have gone on a few times, and before I do that, I wanted to show the actual legitimate test. This was brought up on my stream yesterday. People talked about what the meta is going to be in Greymore, and how Greymore is going to be this super bursty meta, and it's going to be really tough to deal with, and a lot of these things, and it's going to either be like get one shot or one shot somebody else. And I was wearing, a setup similar to what I am currently running in Storm on my Mag DK, my back bar potentates, 5-piece buffer of the Swift, and I'm wearing 2 resistance pieces in this setup where I'm just trying to simulate the blood spawn proc. So instead of having the blood spawn for the proc, I'm wearing the 2 resistance pieces. It kind of roughly gives the same thing. That's all I was trying to do. So I have it all the time. And so the guy that is testing with me, shout out to Toxicity and everybody else, LZ and everybody else that helped test with me, he's wearing the new Stuhn set. And I wanted to show what the damage was, because I'd already been testing it quite a bit, and I just wanted to show it on stream, like what damage we're talking about. And that's what this video is. I know there's some cutouts. I had to pull the video from Twitch, and Twitch kind of acted up. I apologize for that, but I'm going to give you the information here. He hit me for about a 3K non-crit D-swing, about a 5,200 crit D-swing, about a 6,800 non-crit leap, and just under a 10,000 crit leap. And he's wearing Stuhn on the front bar. Drop my pen. He's wearing Stuhn on the front bar, 5-piece Bone Pirate, 2 Veladreth. So he's wearing a lot of damage. This isn't, I don't think what he's running right now is what a lot of people wear in open world PvP. I would counter that they'd probably wear 2 resistance pieces or a damage mitigation set with the 2 damage sets. So even though he's wearing Bone Pirate and there are higher damage options, he does offset that a little bit with Veladreth. But my point is even if we round it up and say it's like a 10 or 11k leap, most people in PvP, like I'm sitting at 25k health because that's normally what I run. A lot of people that I talk about, like, they run 30k health. I would say that the average health bar in PvP is 30k. If Ebonheart Pact no longer existed, average health would probably drop down to like 25k. They really carry the amount of health that's in PvP. Ebonheart Pact on Xbox, that's for sure. In all seriousness, though, like I think the average health bar in PvP is roughly 30k. We'll just say that. But if fully buffed as a Stam DK, and I think we can all agree that Stam DK Leap is one of the hardest hitting ultimates in the game. It's definitely one of the hardest hitting ultimates I use in the game, and I play just about everything. If that's only hitting me for around 10,000 on a build that I 1vx with, unblocked, is that really that bad when you have 30,000 health? I'm not saying it to like be a smartass or anything. I apologize if I'm saying that. But like when you have 30,000 health and an ultimate is only taking 30 to 33% of your health bar, is it really that bad? I mean, can't you recover and defend yourself a little bit easier? Like in my opinion, like even with 25k health, I can defend myself versus a leap that hits as hard. So I've done a lot of testing with Stuhn, and it's not complete. And I'll come out with my final answers eventually when I get everything tested. But from what I have found so far, Stuhn is better basically across the board than New Moon Acolyte. It is better against lower resistance targets at 25k health. I posted a video a couple days ago if you guys wanted to check that out. It's way better at higher health, and it's better at higher health with people with percent mitigation sets like what I'm wearing in this test. And so I found that Stuhn was anywhere from 5 to almost 20% better depending on the person that you're fighting. I talked to Unified Gaming. He did some tests, and he found basically Stuhn is 10% better, depending on who you're fighting and what you're fighting against. And so then New Moon Acolyte. And so it is a good set. There's a window for it. It has a cooldown. It has all these other sorts of things. Like it is a more powerful set for PvP. But in my opinion, when you see the amount of damage that it's doing in this test, I don't think it's so much more damage that you can't recover from it. If you're wearing a medium armor build, you're going to get hit like 5% harder with somebody with Stuhn compared to New Moon Acolyte, what you're already fighting. It's next to nothing. I mean, it is more It definitely is more, but if you're a medium armor or a lower resistance player, you're gonna be fine. You know, more often than not, they're already hitting you close to the pen cap anyways, and stun is just a lot of what stun is giving is kind of wasted on you. You know, so they're not going to hit that much harder. People with higher resistances and mitigation, you are going to get harder. You are going to get hit harder, but it's not like I'm showing you guys. It's not like you can't recover from it. You know, it's a 5,200 crit D swing with a build that I'm already running. So when people talk about how next patch is going to be a high damage burst or be bursted meta, you know, it's my cat saying hi. It's ignoring that there are all these really good damage mitigation sets out there. You know, a lot of people that 1vx wear 2 flat damage sets. You know, cat says hi, by the way. But come here, buddy. Come on, I'm doing a video. You gotta come say hi. All right. So, anyways, people are wearing 2 damage sets because that's what you need to dish out damage. You know, if people can't survive, they're going to switch from 2 damage sets to 1 tanky set and 1 damage set. And it's not just Buffer the Swift. You know, Buffer the Swift isn't the only good damage mitigation set. You can run Impreg, you can run Critical Riposte, you can run Wizards, you can run, like I said, Buffer the Swift. Pariah is a fantastic set in general because you can stack other resistances. I have 40k resistances in a medium armor build, you know. Like, even though they're going to pen a lot of it, they're not going to pen all of the resistances that I have, especially if I chose to go heavy, you know, just as an example. There's a lot of ways to build mitigation. There's a lot of ways to build to be tanky enough to survive. And I'm going to go through and I'm going to test more of them and all those other sorts of things. But I don't think that this next patch is going to be a crazy burst patch, you know, because people can build tanky, you know. People can build tankier than what they're currently building. And it was the same thing that happened in Scalebreaker. You know, dots went stupid high and people built tanky and they could still do damage. When damage goes up, people just run tankier sets, you know. And that's what's going to happen this next patch. People are going to, if they're getting hit too hard, they're going to wear a tanky set. And they're just going to take advantage of the damage that they're given, and it's going to more or less even out. So I don't think stun is overpowered. I don't think Yondir is overpowered. From a damage perspective, because although it does do more damage, I feel like we need more damage, you know. I feel like when I'm wearing Fury and New Moon on a Stamsork in PvP and I hit a Templar and I do a 4k non-crit D-swing with the 2 best damage sets in the game and they're not blocking, I kind of feel like that it shouldn't be that low when I'm building for that much damage, you know what I mean? That's just my opinion. I feel like the patches are more fun when you have more damage. Instead of having these rugby scrums where we're all like dancing around trying to perfectly coordinate our ultimates to kill each other, it's more fun when it's more action-packed or, you know, fast-paced and action-packed, you know, where people can dish out damage and receive damage and stop and heal and block and recover and like use other things in the game to survive besides just being super thick boys, you know. That's my opinion. So I don't know. That's my thoughts after these tests so far. You know, like I said, there's nothing I've seen where stun has hit me so hard where I'm like, yeah, I can't handle this, guys. Like, this is way too much damage. There's going to be no way we're going to be able to survive, you know. Outside of ganking, there's going to be some ganking things that we're going to have to adjust. But open world PvP builds, stun's strong, but it's not that strong so far. And I wanted to get to 2 other points really quickly, and then I'll end this video. But number 1, and I said this in another video, but this is a perfect example. Stun is very comparable, but flipped to Pariah. You know, Pariah gives you 10,000 resistance when you get to lower health. Stun gives you 13,000 pen when you set somebody off balance. And so instead of it being a resistance set, it's a pen set, but the numbers are close. And Pariah's existed for years. Like, it's been around for a long time, and nobody's ever complained about it. Nobody's ever really, like, the community hasn't really been like, oh, we got to get rid of Pariah. Pariah is a ridiculous set. It makes you so tanky. Like, nobody cares about being tanky. What people care about is damage. And so they saw a 13k pen set, you know, without the cool, you know, regardless of the cooldown, they saw 13k pen, and they're like, that's way too strong. And I've had people on my Discord, on YouTube, and in my Twitch stream basically say that stun should tops be 6K pen. You know, so even if it was 10K pen, a lot of people would be up in arms about how powerful it is, you know? And it's fine. It does, on paper, it's giving way more damage than what other sets are giving. You know, 13K pen compared to like Spriggans or a few years ago, that's crazy. You know, that's a lot of damage. But when you actually see what it does, when you actually see it and you start to test it and, you know, test it fighting other people and all these other sorts of things with current mechanics, it's really not that bad. You know, I think the damage is very welcome. And I'm gonna put it out there, but it's cool. I think it's cool that people share my videos and like my videos spurn discussion on the forums. I think that's awesome. But what happens during these big patches? It happened the last big patch, and it's happening again this one. But people share my balance video or my gear set review videos. And they basically are like, hey, here's the gear set review. This is overpowered. Zos, please nerf it. When I never said that in my video. You know, I never said please nerf it. And that gets annoying to see because people are like, hey, man, like your video is being discussed in the forums and people are taking it and, you know, using it in a way that I never said to use it as. You know what I mean? And that gets, I'm just saying that it gets a little annoying. So this is just going to be to stay that unless I come out and I say, hey, this is too powerful, like this needs to be adjusted. If I'm just saying like, hey, this is a new monster set, this is what it does, this is a new set, this is what it does, that's all I'm saying. You know, that's all I'm saying. I'm like you guys. I'm testing stuff out. I'm trying to come to my own conclusions to figure out where this patch is going to be. And it's going to take a lot of testing. It's going to take a lot, you know, and I'm trying to figure that out as well as possible for you guys as well because they reduced healing by 20%. They introduced new damage sets. They reduced the resistances on monster sets. They reduced the health recovery on monster sets. And there's going to be a whole new mess of patch notes coming in tomorrow. And it's just a lot, like I've said it before, but it's a lot of moving parts. It's a lot of moving parts to figure out exactly how strong some things are and if other things aren't strong and, you know, all this other stuff. So until I figure that out, if I do a gear set review, it's just to show you what it is and what it does, you know, unless I say otherwise, like, hey, this is really strong, they need to adjust this. I'm not saying it needs to be adjusted. So if people are going to use my videos on the forums and say, hey, please nerf, and they're going to use them that way, please don't. You know, that's not cool because unless I'm saying it and unless I'm providing examples, you're being one of those people that, you know, you're not testing this information. You're not coming to your own conclusions to figure this stuff out and providing a reasonable conclusion. You know, you're just basically looking at a stat sheet and you're saying, hey, this is ridiculous, without taking into account that there's all these other percent mitigations. They've been reducing the damage of certain skills and abilities for the last couple of years now. And due to all this, you know, damage just isn't as high as it was a couple of years ago. So that's the end of this video. If you guys have any questions or comments about Stuhn, I'll do my best to answer them. Like I said, I haven't tested every single environment. You know, like this, what I'm showing you, this is a better suited setup for dealing with Stuhn since it's so much percent mitigation. But still in this fight, it's better than New Moon Acolyte from my tests. So that's why I wanted to show it to you guys and kind of show you, you know, how much damage the new OP stuff is. So yeah, that's going to be the end of this video. Thank you for watching, guys. Have a nice day.